Attendees are in listen-only mode.
This is Carol Campbell with Site to Do Business, and we're excited about the webinar that we're presenting to you today. Just in case you're new to webinar world, and I can't imagine that any of you are after 2 years in COVID, but you are in listen-only mode, which means you can hear us, but we cannot hear you. You do, however, have the opportunity to communicate with us using the question box over on the right-hand side. May say questions, may say chat. Either way, you can communicate with us. So let me introduce our topic for today. And that, of course, is an overview of RealNex and some of the new enhancements that have been made. And then also a discussion of a really remarkable incentive or deal that RealNex is making for our CCIM members. I want to make it very clear that transitioning RealNex away from a completely complementary member benefit into a partner product where it will require some dollars on your part was not because there was anything wrong with the relationship or with the product. We've had a great relationship with RealNex for many, many years, way back to REIYs, if any of you remember that. It's simply a sign of what's happening in the world right now. We had to make a change, and RealNex has been tremendous in working with us and helping us figure out the best way to transition our members to that partner product category. And I think you will find the new enhancements that they have, coupled with the incentives that they're going to give to our members, make it very compelling case for accepting that offer. Please reach out to us or to RealNex with any questions. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Demetrius.
Demetrius Lejotis. I'm the President and Chief Operating Officer of RealNex. And thank you for the great introduction, Carol. As Carol said, we've had a long-standing and great relationship with CCIM, and we understand that things change. So we're doing our best to make that transition as smooth and painless for everybody as possible, and look forward to continuing to have an equally long relationship going forward. Today, we're going to present to you the main product, which is MarketEdge, but also give you an overview of Navigator, which is the complete offering that RealNex has that includes MarketEdge, and then talk to you a little bit about the very special offer that we're providing through this transitionary period. And so Jeff Finn has put together a presentation on all of those things, and we'll let Jeff take it from here.
Yes, and I apologize that I didn't introduce Jeff. I was going to do that next. I was just so focused on getting Dimitri's name right. Jeff Finn, I can do that one without any questions. So thank you both, Demetrius and Jeff, for being here. And I'm going to be quiet at this point and let you take it.
Thank you, and welcome to the RealNex CCIM webinar. I'm Jeff Finn, CEO of RealNex, and delighted to be with you today to share with you an update to the CCIM RealNex relationship and how it's evolving. We've had a long and very beneficial relationship with the Institute over the years. Over 4,000 designees have taken advantage of the RealNex MarketEdge solution to assist them with their evaluation, financial analysis of properties, as well as the marketing and deal rooms that they're able to provide in selling property. And we've enjoyed the relationship with the Institute, which has subsidized that subscription for its members so that RealNex could provide it at no cost to members as a benefit within their CCIM membership. That relationship will be transitioning at the end of the year to a preferred vendor relationship rather than a client relationship. And for those of you who have been taking advantage of the free version of MarketEdge, there will be a new beneficial pricing structure put in place. And for those of you who have taken advantage of Navigator, there will also be a new preferred pricing structure put in place. We do want to work with you to manage through this transition and enable you to maintain the valuable resources that you've had with RealNex, and we look to continue to evolve and grow together for many years to come. The RealNex MarketEdge is comprised of three primary solutions. It's a financial analysis tool for investment underwriting and comparative lease analysis, as well as a presentation builder where we create amazing branded proposals, flyers, BOVs, offering memorandum, as well as enabling clients to host private and secure deal rooms to run sales processes. The financial analysis module of RealNex MarketEdge takes a wizard-driven approach. With just one set of inputs, you get a whole host of outputs, from charts, graphs, and projections. Just pick the property that you want to work on. All the details can be brought forward straight from your RealNex CRM. You'll have all the information that you need to begin your underwriting and analysis. You can actually have multiple scenarios that you can plan. Put in basic assumptions about the property as far as land value, projection years, 5, 10, 20-year terms can be analyzed, your discount rates that you want to work with, from the overall rate to equity and reinvestment rates, as well as tax and vacancies. The income analysis allows you to provide for granular rent roll level pro formas with each tenant and its expiration, escalation, and reimbursements, rollover assumptions as far as any renewal terms or rent abatement and vacancies, TIs, commissions, and what the new tenant profile would look like on a renewal. If you don't have that level of detail, you can come in with a quick analysis and just put in high-level monthly income, estimated growth rates, and assumed annual vacancies, and then do the same work on the expense side. Detail line item expenses and expense growth rates, as well as any reimbursements and reserves that might need to be put in place for capital expenses. Again, on the expense side, you could also put in a high-level expense for the quick analysis as well. So it just depends on how detailed you want to be. Our financing module allows you to put in 3 different loans to put in your leverage assumptions as far as it could be construction or first and second or any mezz or pref, and the model can be put forward based on those assumptions. Once all that information is in, you get all of these outputs, 9 different reports for cash flow, APOD, financial indicators, resale analysis, and the whole host of reports that you can work with and put into your presentations for your proposal and OMs, as well as charts and graphs that'll enable a better visualization of all of the information. Once the information is in and you're ready to put it out, our investment details come into a presentation format that you can put into a PDF or an e-offering document, as well as into a property-specific website. Here's just some samples of different charts and graphs and the output that comes as far as the presentations. We'll get more into that when we get into the presentation module. We also have a comps manager. The comps manager allows you to bring all of your comps from third-party sources, your own from your CRM, into the RealNex MarketEdge. And then when you're doing your underwriting or BOVs or just putting in your comps for your proposal or OM, you can make adjustments to values based on any inferior or superior comps that you're putting into the model and make adjustments so that you can help determine proper pricing. And when you go into your opinion of value, you'll have your financial indicators and information, as well as your alternative properties and the adjustments that are to be made, and you'll see that they will all come together with a detailed summary and recommendation of price based on your analysis. The MarketEdge presentation builders had an incredible number of enhancements put in place just recently, and love to share them with you. The system is a template-driven approach, so RealNex delivers to you any number of different formats right out of the box, but then you can create and build your own templates going forward. But we've started you off with the BOV module, buy versus lease analysis, and development analysis, and simple lease brochure or flyer, as well as proposals and offering memorandum, and a variety of other presentations that just have a a set series of pages that are built, and then a format, look, and feel that matches your branding that you can customize and tweak to make your own. You set up all of your defaults as far as what you want the presentation to start with and look like, and then you can customize it and tailor it from there. Set up your own personal profile and on each different proposal or presentation, who else you're working with on that. And then you can set up the look and feel of interior pages, your colors, which are standard for your company to pick up your brands, as well as your logo and type. And then we give you a variety of up to 30 different cover pages, or over 30 different cover pages that you get to choose from, as well as the ability to build custom branded cover pages to give it your own look and feel. And if that's not enough, you can also create your own interior pages to be exactly the way you want them to look. So as far as your templates go, once you have a module built, maybe it's a one-pager that you start with, or an OM that you want to start with, you can then add any additional pages that you want. Here's the library of choices that you have, and notice that in addition to the preset pages that Realnex comes with, we also have custom global pages that you get to build and create for yourself, or to attach your own PDFs. One of the types of reports that we have is a custom map, where you get to drag and drop different points of interest around a subject property. It could be competition, a retail map as an example, or anything that is happening in the surrounding area that you want to call attention to. We also, as I mentioned, have the ability to create custom pages, so you get to select the number of columns and rows on that page, and then drag and drop different of what we call widgets onto the page to build a completely custom page for your own personal use. That page could be anything you want. It could be all text. It could be data from the database. It could be maps and related information or images. So I'm going to create one here with a photo array and a map, and then a property description, and then that can be saved, and you can use that repeatedly in other presentations, which would draw the appropriate map coordinates from that particular property and the photos from that photo library for that particular property as well. So create the custom page once, and then you can apply it across your portfolio of use. Here's just another look and feel that you might want to build. And what's great about this is, in addition to the rows and columns that we preset, you have these drag handles that you can grow or shrink each one of the sections with as you'd like. So complete flexibility to design and build your own pages with any type of element that you want to put in. So any third-party image that you want to drop in, if you want to create an image or take a photo and put it in, you have the ability to do that here. You can also save presentations. So if you might want to have one property and have multiple presentations, you may want to have a flyer, a brochure, an offering memorandum. Just save 1, 2, 3. Then you've got all of your documents saved. Then you can create different scenarios and then save them. So under one property, you can have any number of different presentations that you can call upon from time to time. And when you're ready to share them, we have a number of different ways to share. You can create the document and then save it as a PDF, or create an e-published document, which is a link where you can embed that anywhere. It could be on a website. It could just be on an email that you're sending a link to. And as you update information on that property, the e-publish would be updated as well. And we also give you the ability to create specific property websites for the asset as well, and to put that into the anywhere you'd like, or send the link out to your clients as well. Here's just a sampling of some of the different cover pages that we have. Again, 30 different cover pages to choose from, as well as custom branded options that we can build for you, and the ability for you to create an unlimited number of personalized interior pages with the drag and drop feature that I described. The MarketEdge website, again, gives you the ability to put all of the investment details of the property, as well as charts, graphs, and images out, and put that link and embed that on your website, or it's a standalone website for that property, and share that as you choose to with your clients or prospects. Here's just a sample of what that would look like. You have all the different menu options across the top. This would be your branding, your image and contact information. So that's presentations. Quickly, just want to give you a high-level overview of MarketEdge financials and presentations, and now we'll go into the MarketEdge deal rooms. Deal rooms are a great way to sell property. It's the most controlled and efficient way to get property out into the market. You can send the link to the deal room directly from MarketEdge. You build your dashboard, set up your participants. Those participants can be a group from your CRM, or you can create them directly here in MarketEdge and send out invites to people to join. You can link the deal room to your property listings in the Realnex marketplace, or send them out as a link into from anywhere that you'd like from an email marketing campaign. The ability to set different levels of security is in place. So 7 levels of security, basic up through 7 levels of different secure access to the documents. Maybe basic is just the general OM and information, and once they have a confidentiality agreement and an LOI in place, you might want to add certain due diligence information, and once a contract is placed, you have all of the final due diligence information, and you could have different people having access to different levels of detail. It could be from a lender's standpoint or an investor's standpoint, different levels of security, so that the participants would be able to access that information from anywhere. And you get to monitor that accessing of the information, so you know who's active and engaged and who needs some additional follow-up and who might need to be worked on for an offer at a certain point in time as they're engaged with the listing. The documents are all brought into a folder series, a nested folder structure. Just drag and drop from your desktop, put it onto your system, and then all the information could be tagged as far as what level of security you need to have the ability to view that document. And again, once someone views it, you'd be aware of it and be able to monitor their activity. So within MarketEdge, just as a recap, 3 primary components. We have our financial analysis for investment underwriting, comparative lease analysis, our presentation builder to create property specific proposals, BOVs, flyers, and offering memorandum, as well as private and secure deal rooms to run controlled sales processes. So why don't we take a break here and see if there's any questions before we get into RealNex Navigator and the sort of a day in the life scenario of what it takes to how we bring it all together under one comprehensive solution.
Yeah, I don't see any questions in the questions section there. If you do have questions, please put them in there and we will address as many as we can.
Question about comps. Are we working with anyone to provide comps? You want to talk about some of the data services that we're...
Yeah, so in terms of comps, we are in the process of looking at a number of data providers, and we don't have anything to announce today, but I believe shortly we will have a data service that we'll be able to connect everyone to. It will not just be comp data, but it will also be, if we are able to come to an agreement, it will be building information, some tenant information, as well as the tax assessment information and also loan data. And with a process that we've developed internally, we'll be able to incorporate that directly into your database for you, clean it up, and add to it in terms of being able to connect certain things. Like if there's common ownership across a number of properties, we'll be able to link all of that for you automatically. You won't have to do any of those sorts of things. So we're optimistically excited about doing this. We have a little ways to go before we finalize it, but it is definitely something that we're looking to bring to everybody next year.
Excellent. So let's now talk about RealNex Navigator and take a quick tour of our complete end-to-end workflow. The Navigator starts with CRM, which is a comprehensive repository of all the information that you need to run your business, from companies and contacts and property spaces and comps, and then the processes and workflows you go through with events and timelines, as well as the ability to manage your projects and pursuits. All the information in CRM can drive your MarketEdge, which we talked about, as far as your underwriting for proposals, your marketing collateral, and your financial analysis, as well as the ability to drive your marketplace listings and e-marketing campaigns. We're not going to talk about the transaction manager, but that's another part of the system, particularly for tenant reps and leasing agents. That's very compelling, but today we're going to focus primarily on the investment sales day in the life. When you look at the RealNex Navigator in total, it replaces multiple systems, and we found more often than not it's saving clients 50 to 70% of their spend in technology, gaining greater adoption because it's one integrated solution that's working end-to-end without redundant data entry, and it's just driving tremendous operational efficiencies for all of our clients, not just the agents, but the analysts and marketing departments as well, that are able to coordinate and work with their teams very efficiently by having one common platform. Just by way of background, and I think fundamentally it's something that works day to day, is the sync ability within Realnex. So we can sync with Outlook and Google, so it's something that you'd want to set up so you're driving information from all of the traffic that you have in your emails and your other these third-party apps, the contacts and calendar and events and any attachments to any of the emails all coming through and becoming part of your contact history in Realnex, so that you have all that information stored and shared, and it helps to build and fast start your database and keep it up to date with contact information being updated and maintained, as well as the ability to import data. So as you're prospecting and going to market, and you're able to identify lists of comps or properties or contacts that you want to pursue, you're able to easily import all that information and get your database off to a fast start and regularly updated with new information. And then you refine it and enhance it within the system to make it your own and really personalize it with your custom profiling of prospects and properties, so you have more information than the market does. So import is a simple wizard-driven approach. Like a lot of Realnex, you're able to put an auto map in place and bring all of your information in very efficiently and seamlessly and easily, and to get off to a fast start. A unique capability in Realnex, we love this, is our timeline feature. So as you bring new assets into the system or contacts into the system, you might want to apply a consistent follow-up routine, and a timeline builds that for you. So we give you a number of different timelines to start with, but you can build your own. Very simply, a timeline is any sequence of events that you want to put in place that you assign a certain task to, a certain date to, and a certain person responsible for that. So anyone on your team that you want to, you can assign a task to, and it could be 20, 30, or 100 different events that are part of a timeline, all booked into different phases. You set up that timeline once, and then you can tweak it or modify it as you need to, but then you apply it to a project or to a contact or to a property for future follow-up. So things that you're going to do repeatedly, if it's a consistent approach that you take to listing or listing management or contact prospecting, you'd want to apply a timeline to each one of those people or buildings or projects, and all of that information will then flow into a Gantt chart and then flow into your team's database and calendar, so that all the things that need to get done are getting done timely and you're able to report against them. One of the things that we find great about timelines is the ability to use it to not only manage business but to win business by showing your clients a timeline and the approach that you're going to take and all the things that you're going to do. It builds value and demonstrates the value that you're going to deliver, and then you can use it to report against and to show a client what you did do and how you did it, and what the results were. So whether it's for business development or for running a project, running a deal, timelines are an incredible way and an incredible power within the Realnex CRM. So the timeline then drives in, or all the events that you set into your system drive into a dashboard. So you have a consolidated view of all the different things that you need to do and a way to prioritize all the things that you need to do every day. So you can sort of set it and forget it. And I know that I did something today and I need to follow up with it in 2 weeks. I don't need to worry about it. It's going to show up on my calendar and my event dashboard in 2 weeks, and it'll remind me that that's an important thing that I need to do that day. So in a day in the life, start with your event dashboard and knock out all the priority items on the things that you need to do today before moving on. And once you're ready to move on, perhaps you're going to be prospecting for new listings. So let's get into our property database and do a query, because we want to find certain properties in a certain geography that we're going to solicit and see if we can get some listings. So with Realnex, we can set up a filter, and you can filter on any criteria, any data in the database, set up the criteria that you want to create. And in this one, we built a query for the city is Las Vegas, the building size is greater than 10,000 square feet, property type is office and industrial. We're going to start canvassing for those and see if we can bring in some new listings. So I was able to identify a group of listings that fit the criteria, but I found that all the information didn't display properly on the screen for me. So now I want to tweak my column view and apply that, and I can save it as a custom view for my property prospecting workflow. And so I save my filter as a favorite, and I can save my column view as a favorite, and then easily with one click on filter and one click on columns, I have exactly what I need to start prospecting. But it's tricky, as we find that a lot of times, there's more than, each individual owner may own more than one property, so we don't want to have a list of people with redundancies. So we have an option called Linked, so we can actually inverse this table where we move it from focusing on property to focusing on the contacts. So let's run through and link the property name to the property contact, and now we've got a prioritized look at who all the contacts are, and now we see the owner with all the properties. So it sort of turns that table upside down and makes it more efficient for prospecting. And that's the power of the relational nature of the Realnex database. We don't just have a name of a person in a field in the property record, but we actually have a company and a contact which are individual records that are linked to each other, and they're linked to the property, so that we can make sure that everything is connected, and spaces are linked that way, and comps are linked that way, and projects are linked that way. So a very efficient way to tie people and companies to spaces and buildings. So now we can start prospecting, and as we go through our prospecting, we want to send an email campaign, because we want to start to sort of create a broad base of awareness to our target market of prospects. So let's build from the Realnex, one of our templates that we've built in, and we want to customize this. So I can use any field that I have in my database to customize a message, and might say something like, dear name, we are currently doing a lot of work in the downtown area, and I found that properties are selling for $200 to $250 a square foot. We know that you bought your property 5 or 6 years ago, and you might have bought it for much less than that, and are now it could be an advantageous time now to sell. So if you're interested in a free BOV, give me a call. Whatever the message is, you can send that message out to the market and to your target list with custom merge fields built in, and then see the results. So all the results are built into Realnex, no third-party apps, no importing and exporting lists, but all native inside of Realnex. So you see everyone that looked at your information, anyone that bounced that you need to follow up with, and it gives you a great prospect list to then drill down on. So instead of making calls to all of the people that were on that list, now you have just the handful of people that you might want to follow up with very quickly. So out of the 22 that sent, 6 looked like they're most interesting. So let's start calling those 6. And when I get to the one that says, yes, I'm really interested in working with you. In fact, I was about to put that property on the market and start to interview brokers. You can then take all your information and say, I can get you a proposal very quickly. Let me send you a quick BOV and proposal to list your property. So all the information you now have in your property database can be pushed into your MarketEdge. Go through the process that we talked about earlier to put your proposal together, get your BOV set, and now you've got a document you publish and send back to the client. So you've got your proposal to list and ready to submit, send it off to the client, and they love the proposal, and you're able to secure the listing. Now that you have the listing, it's time to go to work in creating your marketing material. So without any redundancy, the information that you put into MarketEdge can turn from a proposal into a flyer, and from a flyer into a full offering memorandum, all available for e-publication that you can send as a link to your various target markets, and you're ready to go with that. You also want to create a Realnex website, so we'll publish a website and put our property out in the market. All of this information can be put into your email campaigns, as well as linked to your Realnex marketplace listings or any other third-party sites that you want to publish your listing on. You also want to create your deal room, so we're going to upload documents into the deal room from our hard drive, and here we go. We'll put the information in, and then we'll link this corporate offering to our target market from our CRM. So we'll pick a group of investors, and we'll be able to invite the prospect to the prospective investors to the deal room. We can also publish the listing into the Realnex marketplace, and we'll syndicate the listings out to our third-party sites, and then begin to run our campaigns. We'll merge all the data from the listing into a flyer, send it out to our private list as well as the Realnex community, and then monitor the activity, bring leads back into our project, and begin to follow up with those projects through deal cycle completion. So we can update the project with a timeline. So we've started the process, and we want to embed a timeline to that project and know everything that we need to do to run and coordinate the full sales cycle of that property. So we'll pick the investment sales timeline, apply it to that project, and we know what we've got to do to follow up. We also want to start to focus in on a target list of prospects for our direct campaign and solicitation. So we'll run a query against our database of prospects and send a message to them that we've got a great new listing that they'll be interested in learning about, like we did on the other side when we were soliciting for properties for sale. We're now looking for bidders, and we can run a campaign to those potential bidders, drive them into our deal room, and then see what level of activity they will bring. We can narrow down the prospects based on their criteria, start to follow up with all of them in calls, and bring all of our updates into our CRM and into our client reporting through our histories, and then get to deal completion with our commission forecasting and closing process management. Once we're done, we create a sales comp, and we've gone through the complete sales cycle. So there's RealNex Navigator, a quick tour from prospecting for new listings, managing a process of underwriting, marketing and analysis, lead generation and deal management through completion. So just a quick whirlwind tour of the RealNex system. I'm sure you may have some questions. Before we get into the special offer, let's take a break and see if there's any questions, and then we'll come back to the final session with our special offer for the CCIMs.
Okay, Jeff. It looks like there is one follow-up question related to the comp discussion, which is, will there be a fee for comps, or will be included? There will be a fee. It's going to be a pretty broad service, But rest assured that, as with the rest of Realnex, the intent is to have something that is very affordable and provides good coverage. So we haven't finalized any idea on pricing yet, but I feel safe to say that it will be probably one of the more affordable offerings for comp data that you'll be able to access, and you'll also have the benefit of having that data already directly incorporated into your database.
Dee, there are some other questions. One's on custom branded brochures and how we can work with clients to get their designs put into the system.
Yeah, so just contact your Realnex rep and speak with them about what you're looking to do. We do have the ability to create custom templates for various things. There will be a fee for doing that, but we can do that. And you just need to understand exactly what it is that you're looking for, and we can get you an estimate. And if it's acceptable, we can get those done for you.
So we can pretty much clone most any branded materials. If you have your own materials already built, you can just send a template in, and we can try our best to match it. And if you don't have your own design, we have designers that can also help to build and create. Let's see, one question on timeline for this comps, and I don't know. Yeah. Dee, I think you mentioned it. We don't have an exact date, but it's sometime early in the new year.
Yeah, I expect that if we're going to do something, we will know in the first quarter, and likely there will be an announcement by the end of the first quarter. Could slip into the second quarter, but it's something that we're very focused on and believe that we have an opportunity to bring something interesting and affordable to the market.
With regard to Sync, we have the Outlook and Google Sync. Question is, can you do both or just one or the other? And we should say that the Google Sync currently actually works through Outlook. So if you have Google, we are working towards, but don't have the direct integration. So there's an app that feeds that into Outlook and then into Realnex. So in that way, they would be both working, but otherwise they would be individual.
And if you don't want to go through that, we are working to be able to have the Google connection. There are some users that have the direct connection. For those of you that aren't aware, Google has basically pushed down to any software provider that is connecting to their service an annual cost that's substantial. And so we're working through that process now in order to do the security review that they require. And again, hopefully sometime in the first quarter, we'll have that resolved. But to the extent that someone does want to have both Google and Outlook integrated, you would have to go through the path that Jeff just outlined, where there's a service that connects Google to Outlook, and then we'll feed everything through.
Next question is, does the CRM replace Outlook in Google? It does with its email function, and it does not replace. You can email directly from Realnex, but it doesn't manage all of your email traffic.
Right, and I'd also like to add to that, for those of you who haven't used the CRM or haven't looked at it lately, we do have now the ability to do email campaigns directly out of the CRM. And unlike Marketplace that was restricted just to property listings, in the CRM version, you're able to do other things, and we have some templates for sending out newsletters and market reports or just general communications. So if you want to be able to track more information about the emails that you're sending out, you can now do that through the CRM.
Yeah, they're asking about the source of properties. Does it come from MLS or public records? So there's a few different areas where properties are in Realnex. Those are input by our clients. So in your CRM, all that property information is yours. You input it, you own it, you control it. In MarketEdge, it's your information. Again, you can import that from a third-party data service, as Dee was describing with comps. We also are working with that same data service to provide base property information, so that would come in. And then we in our marketplace have thousands of companies and agents that are both inputting directly or importing. We are importing and taking data feeds from them to get those listings into Realnex and publishing that out. So we are not doing the primary research, but again, as Dee mentioned, we are working with other research companies to begin to look at integrations and how we can attach that information to Realnex, or you can put it into your private version. Let me just read this. It's how can link and view in the list modes two contacts related to a company's interested in a particular property while showing interest, showing property owners contact. So when you're in a property, and we don't want this to get into a full training session, but if you can, when you get a call, for instance, a sign call, and you open up that contacts information, you can, in the linked project field, input multiple projects and just begin to type in. So you can then show that you had 2 inquiries on 1 Main Street and 2 Second Avenue or whatever it was. With that one entry, you can update multiple projects simultaneously, so the owners of each property individually would know that you had presented those offerings to different people. And then inside of Realnex, a question on how to set up a prospect call list. Again, that we have a host of reports inside of the system, just under, and in that list view that was demonstrated, you can run any query that you want against your database, and that can be exported to Excel, or you can bring that up on your screen as a list to start making your calls. We have what I was showing mainly was a split screen where a list on the left and a detail on the right, so you could have your call list on the left with all the property records on, or the contact information records on the right, and as you go through your calls, you'd have the detail screen to add more detail. We also have in our list view an edit mode, so as you go through the list, you can edit directly on the screen like you do in Excel, so it's very fast and efficient for your calls and updates into the system.
And you can also save any queries, so that to the extent that you create a query that will generate a call list for you, you can rerun the query at any time and have that list instantly available for you. I also see a question, does Realnex, I think it's meant to say logo, appear on all marketing materials? And the answer is no. Particularly within MarketEdge, if you have your own branded content, Realnex will not have its logo on there. On the email campaigns that are sent out, there is something that mentions that it came from Realnex because it's being sent from our domain. But other than that, there's a lot of flexibility to have your own branding on whatever you send out to folks.
And the other part of there's a question about that. How do you relate that your prospect follow-up to a property? Again, just like with a project, as you're making calls, you can link that a contact to make them a lead on a property, or link them to the property and make them associated to that property. And with each update that you make, you can set a follow-up, and those follow-ups feed into your dashboard for your priorities for whatever date you set the follow-up to make a callback list. Let's just get into the offer, let you know what the details. Really excited about this, but we do need to act quickly. We are time sensitive since the program rolls at the end of the year. So hopefully you like what you saw. You see a lot of value. I know a lot of you are already deep into RealNex Navigator as well as Marketplace and know the compelling advantages of the system. And we were able to give you some new ideas on how you might use the tools today. Again, we are thrilled to have you with us as clients for such a long term, and anxious to work with you through the transition as we move into this preferred vendor relationship. So here's what we're going to do. If all of you that are interested, by the 22nd of December can take advantage of the following offers. First, if you're a RealNex MarketEdge client, want to continue that relationship and that subscription, 1 year for a 66% discount, 2 years for a 71% discount, so $400 a year or $700 for 2 years, an unbelievable pricing advantage that you have as a CCIM. If you're interested in Navigator, we can give you a 34% discount up to 2 years, so $11.88 per year for up to 2 years. And if you're not a designee but a CCIM candidate, we'll offer you a 20% discount on any of the Realnex subscriptions for up to 2 years. So that's it. We unfortunately need to act quickly as the program with CCIM is the subsidized program is coming to an end by the end of the year. So we're making this offer to you as a special offer through this webinar series and through the mailings that we've sent out, giving you the time to act by December 22nd to take advantage. We hope you do. We're thrilled to work with you and look forward to continuing to add value and provide real estate technology tools that help you be as efficient as possible in the marketplace. So with that, let me wrap up and see if there are any other questions. Again, to take advantage of it, simply go to the realnex.com CCIM portal, fill out the form, and we'll have someone contact you right away to take advantage of this special offer. We really appreciate your time, and if you have any questions, please feel free to post them, and we'll do our best to address them before we wrap up.
I was just going to let people know, if you're not sure where to find that landing page, if you log in to Site to Do Business and you click on the Realnex tile, it will take you to the landing page that Jeff was mentioning. Jeff and Dee, thank you so much for your time today. I learned a lot, and we appreciate so much the relationship, as I said in the beginning, the continued relationship, and for these for the special incentives that you're giving the membership to continue. So with that, anything else?
I think there's one. Yeah,
there's one final question. Annual payments only for this offer. Yes, there are no month to months. If you want either the 1 or the 2 year offer, both of those would need to be paid upfront for this offer. This is well below any discounts that we've ever given, and so we need to do this in a way that's efficient and effective for us as well. And so I think it only made sense for us to do this on an annual basis. If you did go month to month, you would be subject to price increases anyway, so it wouldn't really make sense to do it that way.
The other question was on the 1188. The 1188 is the 34% discount for designees. The retail price is 1788. So the question is about candidates. So the candidate's price would be 20% off of the 1788. So that would be 1430 for the candidate pricing for the full Realnex Navigator. And so I think that is it through the questions. And Carol, we certainly appreciate you hosting this, and
absolutely
the event.
We appreciate it too. We will see you on the next webinar. If you want to join us again, please do. It will be pretty much a repeat of this, but tell your friends to join. Everybody have a great afternoon, and I will get that link posted as quickly as I can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.